A medical student, she passed all the subjects except for one, and for which she returned year after year. This particular subject was a terrible nightmare from which she wished to wake up. It was anatomy. One day, her friend suggested to her to buy a corpse and study through it practically, so that she could pass the autopsy material that caused her a lot of trouble. He was among the medical students who knew a security man working in a mortuary, and her friend was one of those students. She took her from her hands and went with her to the man, who had relations with a large number of grave diggers, so the girl agreed with him at once to buy a body and he identified its pricey. On the day of the delivery, the girl had a problem that she would not be able to solve. She was sure that her family would never accept the idea of a dead body in the house. She presented the matter to the mortuary man, who gave her the solution in no time. He invited her to come to the mortuary and do what she wanted to do from the autopsy and study on it there, and set an appointment for her, and it was 9 o'clock. The girl paid the agreed money and left the place. Indeed, on the same date, she was in front of the mortuary. The man had prepared a place for her in advance, and put the corpse for her on the table, and the girl proceeded to her work. Do it ahead of time. But when she raised her eyes to the watch in her hand, she was terrified at the time she had found it stolen, and immediately picked up her things and equipment and left. And as she came out of the room, she found a woman with long red hair and very black eyes, and holding a candle in her hand. She was wearing a doctor's clothes and Dr. Beth the judge. The girl was astonished by one thing. She was holding a candle in her left hand, despite the bright lights in the morgue. "What are you doing here? How dare you enter, and who allowed you to do this in the first place?" asked this strange woman with unusually white skin. The girl lost her composure and proceeded without realizing it from the intensity of her fear, anxiety and tension that had befallen her. Her heart was racing and sweat poured down upon her. She was begging this doctor to let her go and not to do any harm to her. The girl told her full story and the extent of the suffering she suffers because of the anatomy subject, and about the years she spent at university because of this subject, which she wants to succeed with in order to graduate from medical school. The surprise was that she let this amazing doctor leave, although all the girl's expectations were that she would not do this. The biggest surprise was when this doctor offered her help. The girl's heart could not contain the joy she felt. But the strange-looking doctor set one condition and threatened her that if she did not abide by this condition, she would harm her then. The condition was that she should not disclose her secret to anyone, and that she should not mention her name in front of anyone, whoever he was, and they agreed on that. Days and months passed, and the final exam date for the autopsy material was approaching. The girl was absorbing everything from her new doctor, who made everything easy for her, and she was simplifying things for her and teaching her by experience to do everything with her own hands. The exam date came, and the girl succeeded with a very high grade, which surprised her university professors, so they insisted on knowing the secret behind her finally passing the subject that she had suffered for many years, and under the insistence of them and pressures, the result was that she revealed the secret. Everyone was astonished when they heard the name of the doctor and did not believe the girl, as this doctor died in her office at the university 10 years ago. The girl paid a very high price from the same doctor, as she once went to the morgue to make sure that what she was seeing was true, and the first time she saw her other face, the girl screamed and was in mental hospital for not keeping a secret.